So, yep, you don't need to see my face, all you need to see is a cube. So, for the first FMC attempt, I saw these two pieces. I knew that they line up from years of cross alignment experience. I saw this pair here is going to line up, these two pieces, and this piece here in the cross. Obviously I'm not actually solving a cross, but I'm going to line these two pieces up so that when I do that, they line up. Now I'm going to move that so that they're ready, and then I see this piece, this corner piece here, and this edge piece here. So I figure out that when I insert that, if I move this piece here, then when I insert that, that is going to line up too. Okay, so now I also realize, after, obviously this is not just me thinking, this is a lot of experimentation because FMC is an hour long. I see this piece here and this piece here, and I do U to bring that there so that I can insert this thing here with and get this done in the process. So I've now got 3 F2L pairs almost. I've got this block here, but what I don't do that final move there, because after a lot of experimenting I realized that if I do a sexy move here and then finish that off, I can then have this where it's just a 7 move F2L case that just so happens to give me a 1 class layer like that. Scramble 2 is going to be a bit harder and a bit longer to explain, but I saw this block here and I saw this here, so I wanted to find a way to set that up and then influence what's coming next. So I did so I moved that piece out, and then I did D to move that in, and then I did L to move that in, and B to solve that. And that lines up this pair into an easy insert, and I insert it in and then cancel I cancel that move there so that that goes straight in. So basically it is just block building, and then you can see there that is a piece that can slide in there. So it is just block building, nothing fancy whatsoever. I then look for ways of doing the F2L. So I see that piece there and that corner there. So I do that to line them up, and then at this point I'm looking for various ways. It's not a very nice F2L case, and I want to insert it in a particular way that will get that edge in there and influence that F2L pair to make it not so bad. So I actually basically do, well, obviously I don't write it like this, but basically do M prime U M, and then cancel into U, the U move into that, so that I can do that, and then I have that F2L pair, can insert that F2L pair in easily. Now what I see here with this OLL case is, I'm not sure if I even checked the corner orientation, but because it's got 2 sexy moves in it, it's going to preserve the corner orientation, so I'm going to get an EPLL. Now it turns out that when I did the standard OLL, I got an H-perm. However, the inverse of the standard OLL. Well, if you do it twice, you get an HPerm. The inverse of the standard OLL will solve the HPerm. So I did that, and I got a 38. 37. Yeah, 37. Sorry. So for the final solution, which was somehow another 34, I saw these two pieces here, and I saw this here. So that makes a 2-move 1x2x2 by doing that. And then I saw this piece here. I was tempted to try and make use of this pair, and I did experiment a few things that made use of that pair, but ultimately I just ignored it for now and then solved that 2x2x2 in 5 moves, which was, I think, the best of the lot. So I was hoping that there'd be something good, and eventually I did find something decent with this scramble. So I saw this, so I could fix this pair when I lined this up. So I did a move here like that in order to line that up, and then I experimented a bit, but in the end my solution did insert that cross edge, so I do have a solved cross at this point, and then I insert that yellow-orange pair. Now I could just go and insert this orange-white pair, but I realized that if I first line it up like that by moving this out of place, like that, I could then insert it in the other side and then fix this, and then I'd have this pair lined up. So now there are a few ways of inserting it. I just experimented, and eventually I did figure out how to make use of this insert. Just pretty standard insert, and I get this COLL. So my first instinct is to try and recall the new COLL algorithm I learnt, but it turns out that that COLL algorithm gives me a Z-perm, and the inverse also gives me a U-perm. So I went back to an old algorithm I used to use, which I would not recommend for anything except possibly the ZBLL, although I suspect there's a better ZBLL. Like, it's a terrible alg. But I took that terrible alg, I then mirrored it onto the left. That didn't work. Well, obviously it did work, but it just gave me an E parallel. But then I did the inverse of the mirror on the left, and that gave me a parallel skip. So that is a 35 FMC mean with no FMC techniques and no FMC practice. So it is possible, obviously, if you want to actually get good at FMC, learn proper FMC techniques, but I'm going to keep just messing around and not learning FMC techniques because I've got a 35 mean without, which is probably going to put me about 30th or 40th in the country now, which is quite funny, really.